Family Tea Time. Written by Just Thinking Drabbles. Read by Rashi. Summer in Enbar was not often favourable, seeing as it was always far too hot. But, on occasion, there came a day when a light breeze would blow and chase away the ever-looming heat that encompassed everything. Such days were made nicer when the sky was cloudless and bright, allowing for Hubert and his husband to take tea in the gardens, without the sun beaming down on top of them too harshly, and causing them to sweat through all of their clothes. He watched as Ferdinand prepared their respective drinks, southern fruit-blend tea for himself, which he had mastered making many years ago, and a cup of black coffee for Hubert. It was a practiced thing, their tea times together, and a most welcome respite after long days in meetings and going over paperwork. Hubert relaxed in his chair and admired the way the sunlight danced in Ferdinand's lovely red hair, the way it lit a spark in his eyes as he brought the tray of drinks and sweet treats to the table. It somehow made the smile he donned that much lovelier, and Hubert's heart skipped a beat. He didn't understand how, even after they'd been married for so long, a single look from his husband could still make him blush the way it did. But, then again, understanding the mysteries of the heart had never been easy for him. He picked up the teacup that was set in front of him with care, and took a whiff of the comforting aroma before taking a generous sip. He was aware of the expectant gaze that watched him as he did, ever searching for praise, even with something as inconsequential as this. Hubert found that thought to be rather adorable, and he complimented his skillful brewing as he placed the drink back onto the saucer. Ferdinand's expression brightened from the praise like a sunflower beginning to blossom. He was beautiful and radiant, the most wonderful thing Hubert had ever had the privilege to lay eyes on. Ferdinand grabbed his hand and placed a kiss to his knuckles, before beginning a conversation about something to do with Linhart earlier that day. The sound of his husband's voice was a great comfort to him, and Hubert was content to simply listen to him as he spoke, nodding on occasion when he felt it was necessary. The man before him made him smile with such ease that it almost scared him. He once felt that even the barest upturn of his lips was a chore, as if it were a limb he had to relearn to use again. But not any more. Now he found himself smiling often and at random moments in the day, and could not be happier for it. The day only grew even more perfect when they heard the sound of little heels clicking against the stone walkways. Their daughter Ira came past the hedges which blocked her from their view, and her little giggle echoed around them as she ran with flowers in her hands and a piece of paper clutched to her chest. She came to Hubert's side, and he picked her up so she could sit with him. Her smile was wide as she held out a yellow daisy towards him.
"Look, Daddy! I got this for you! And one for Papa, too!"
she told them with a pride that rivaled Ferdinand's own. "Well, that was very sweet of you," he said as he kissed the top of her head. "It's quite beautiful." He took the daisy in his hands and admired it as he twirled it between his fingers.
"And you can wear it, too, just like the ones Aunt Bernie made you."
He looked at her with a raised brow, but before he could ask her what she meant, she plucked the daisy from his hand and placed it behind his ear.
"Now you and Papa can match."
She turned to Ferdinand then, and offered him the other flower. "How very thoughtful!" he exclaimed, and took the daisy from her so that he could place it behind his ear, as she had done for Hubert. "And what might this be? Top secret report, perhaps?" Hubert joked as he tapped the paper she was clutching closely. She giggled once again and shook her head.
"No, it's a drawing for you and Papa."
"A drawing for us, you say?" Ferdinand asked. Ira bit her lip nervously before nodding and holding out the picture to show them. Ferdinand brought his chair closer towards them to get a better look, and they both grinned as they saw the adorable stick-figure drawing of their family. She had even included the flowers in their hair, and Ferdinand's horse, who she loved to visit whenever she would accompany him to the stables.
"This is me, this is Daddy, and this is Papa,"
she explained and pointed to each of the people to clarify who was who. "This is wonderful, Ira. You are quite a talented artist. We should frame it and put it up where everyone can see it," Ferdinand told her, and tapped the tip of her nose playfully. "Agreed. I believe it is more favorable than any of the pieces we currently own." Ira's smile grew brighter as she handed the paper to Ferdinand and moved to sit with him so that he could prepare her some tea. Hubert smiled at the sight of them. He never used to think that such a peaceful life was allowed for himself, that he could never be a husband, let alone a father. He did not believe in blessings or miracles, or any such nonsense that implied the involvement of deities. Yet, to him, having a family was an incomprehensible gift. Perhaps he might never believe that he deserved to have them in his life, But as he listened to their bubbly laughter fill the air, he knew there would never be a day that went by that he wasn't grateful to call them his.